We'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. With us tonight, we have the Smoky Mountain Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps, along with specifically Special Sergeant First Class Tremco from Smoky Mountain JROTC, and Lieutenant Colonel Carter. We also have 5 cadets: Commander Landon Thomas, First Lieutenants Camden Davis, Ford Perry, Victoria Moore, and Corporal Kaylin Allen. Smoky Mountain JROTC has 31 total members in their first year, and we want to congratulate them for that. And tonight they're going to do the presentation of colors and the Pledge of Allegiance for us. Everyone, please stand up. Smoky Mountain JROTC would like to thank you for your service. Up first tonight, we have approval of agenda. If there are no needs for amendments to the agenda, I'll seek a motion for approval.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed. And next up, we have approval of the minutes from our March 4th regular session meeting and our March 4th work session meeting. If there are no needs for any amendments to those minutes, I'll seek a motion to approval of both.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
And a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Moving on now to administrative reports. I was fortunate enough 2 weekends ago to attend CPR class at Cashers Glenville Rescue Squad. It was the medical, I think, I can't remember, my wife set it up. It was the medical CPR with AED training, and it was a wonderful class. It was about 4 hours long. We went through all first aid and CPR and AED training, and it was a wonderful thing in the community. I think they've had over 300 people come and learn CPR training, and it saved one life. A young lady was able to use an AED that had been placed in the community and saved a man, kept him alive until first responders were able to get there and put him on a vent. And it's if you ever have an opportunity to do something like that, please do. And they're doing training in the community, so if you want, you can go there and take those classes and learn CPR. So, do any other commissioners have anything else to report?
I just want to thank Boston Fire Department for hosting us and putting it together. It looks very nice in here, so we appreciate it. Looking forward to next time.
2 weeks ago, I visited Smoky Mountain JROTC and asked them to come and do this tonight. I really appreciate that, and I urge the other commissioners to go by there and check out the program. It's pretty neat, and hopefully we'll have at least double that starting in the fall. We have a lot of people waiting to sign up, but they have to wait till the fall to get in the program.
Any additional reports tonight? If not, we'll move on to the county manager report. I know Kevin is out. Darlene, is there anything to report tonight? Okay. Moving on now to informal comments from the public. First up, it's Mr. Darnell. Darnell, come on up.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
To begin with, 31 on a first year, that's huge.
Yes, sir.
And a waiting list for a second year. Pursuance of career, I know the program. They have no idea how smart it is, what they're doing. And that's huge, our country area, what have you. The reason I'm here, the other day I was going towards Cashers, and where the feed store is on 107 on the left, on the right is the bridge, Moody Bridge. And of course, if you go across Moody Bridge, you have the street to the right, which is Wick Cemetery Road. Well, if you go down Wick Cemetery Road to the first street on the left, it's called Indian Mound. I don't know why or where a given mound might be, perhaps, or it was just named. But what I'm giving reference to here is every year the DOT, what have you, they like to do a fresh road of somewhere in the county. Well, they'll add on. Well, I am lobbying for them to pave Indian Mound, which is about 2/10 of length, for a couple reasons. One, in a tourist sense, when you go down Indian Mound, I was going up to the trailer park, which has about 15 or 17 units to the private park, what have you, but that also qualifies as a community. 15 or more is community. But on the way up there, I counted 10 houses to the right, 10 residences. Well, a couple were on the left, but 10 residences on the given road, 2/10 of a mile. And when you start on Indian Mound, you have that gentleman that raises llamas. That's cool. Tourist-wise, remember I built $1 million travel agency 35 years ago, and when I get settled with some matters Mike knows about, I want to get on the tourist board. I know how to do whatever you want. But to the left is the Shared Blessings Farm. Well, on the Shared Blessings Farm, when I was doing research with Chief David Webb for the book, Judicola Speaks, because he decoded Judicola before he died, was discovered there was between the house and the barn, a Wakatu is a large granite rock. Well, on that rock, on top of that rock, is a natural trident. And on the left of the trident is pock marks that denote the Pleiadian constellation. And to the foot of that is the three primary stars denoting Orion, just like in the sky. Which means that location was, we call it Baby Judicola. That's the name of the rock. And the people know to be responsible for it, because we told them what's going on. But it denotes that it's one of the sites where the star people would come down and hang out with the medicine men and wisdom keepers, what have you. Point of being is, that's cool. So, warrants it cause for paving the road. The road essentially is wide enough in most parts where it's 2 lanes wide. It's not necessary, you don't have a real traffic count. But it's pretty much level, you just have to do 1 scrape, 1 laying of bed, 1 asphalting, done deal. Day and a half effort, done deal. No infrastructure is up demand. When they come along for fiber optic, they can go to the side, whatever. But I throw that at you to ask them to put that on their to-do list sometime whenever they're so inspired. That would be cool. It's warranted. It's got the account of residents, and plus tourist-wise, because you know tourists are driving around and oh, look at the lawns. So that's what I'm doing on this particular thing. I might have a minute left. There's one other thing I'll throw. Calligraphy. Schools, some don't teach calligraphy, which is usually 3rd grade. They teach 1st grade, write, what have you. But actual calligraphy, there's a lot of value to a calligraphy class. It subconsciously instills self-esteem, self-identity. It has a lot of aspects to it, as well as good handwriting. And a lot of schools would have you giving it up. It's a very woke thing of what they've done. But I don't know if we do that in our school system, but the education people need to be asked about. That's an easy thing to instill during the 3rd grade of the class year, to do a calligraphy effort on the part of the teachers with the 3rd graders. So I throw that out. So those are the 2 things I'm doing here.
I'll reach out to DOT and
Yeah,
contact you about it.
sweet.
See what they
Sweet.
say. Next up, we have Brad Ressinger. Evening. Thanks for coming.
Brad Reisinger here. I've been a Jackson County resident since 2008. I have 2 kids in Jackson County schools. I built my career as an English teacher, 5 years teaching junior high school and high school English, both in public and Christian schools. As a grad student at Western, I worked as a substitute teacher in Jackson County schools and have spent the last 15 years or so as a college English instructor. School boards should prioritize student success, curriculum quality, teacher support, and school safety, rather than advancing political party agendas. Partisan elections would pressure school board members to conform to party platforms, rather than making independent, student-focused decisions. Keeping the focus local helps school boards address the unique needs of their specific communities rather than being swayed by broader party-driven agendas. Parts of the school boards could lead to policy swings depending on which party is in control, making it harder to implement consistent long-term strategies for schools and students. Nonpartisan boards are less likely to be swayed by political donors and more accountable to the communities they serve. Nonpartisan elections allow candidates with various backgrounds, educators, parents, business leaders, to run based on their qualifications rather than their political affiliations. It encourages members who may not be politically active but are passionate about education to participate. If school boards become overly partisan, parents and educators may lose trust in their ability to make fair, balanced decisions based on what's best for our students. A nonpartisan approach helps maintain public confidence that education decisions are being made for educational reasons and not political gain. Finally, Off-cycle elections help create a greater buffer between local and national political issues. Please don't let this nasty national-level political discourse further infect our schools, and rescind this last-minute bill to make our schools more partisan. If Senators Corbett and Clampett are listening, know that Jackson County parents are strongly against this measure, and to please vote against it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Casey Wallawander? Winder? I'm sorry.
That's okay, it's a tricky one. It's Casey Wallawander.
Okay.
I'm here also with Brad to speak about the vote that you all made a few weeks ago to make the school board, or the board of election, Board of Education, a partisan election. I am a parent. I am a Jackson County resident. I was a school employee in Jackson County Public Schools for about 6 years. I'm also a PTA president. I wrote down a lot of things, but on my way over here, I kind of, I don't know, thought a little bit more about why this decision kind of bothers me. And I think one piece is that you all know, like it wasn't on the agenda and there was no opportunity for the community to speak to this issue before you all voted. And that makes me sad for a lot of reasons. But as a PTA president, as a parent, as a school employee, I've been able to interact with school board members a lot, and I've been able to see the ways that school board members interact with our kids a lot. Overwhelmingly, those interactions are really positive, that our school board members get to go into our schools, they read our kids' books, they help with lunches that are Thanksgiving lunches, they help with fundraisers, they help with donations. They're super present in our schools and get to interact a lot with parents, with staff, with students. And I think a lot of that gets to be kind of tension-free, because like Brad was saying, we don't have to look to the bigger political things that are happening. We get to focus on our community. And when our school board's not partisan, people get to vote on kind of what matters. We get to see that. We get to hear our school board members talk about our local issues and the direct impacts those are going to have on our kids. And I think taking that away, it brings in a lot. It politicizes our children. I think in some ways it starts weaponizing our children in ways that in Jackson County we've not needed. We've not had to witness that. We've not had to experience that. And I think that's been really beautiful. So what we've been able to do is see what our kids need. And for every step, it seems like every step, everything that comes up, and I know that you all work so closely with our school board. For a long time, I had a position that was funded in part by the county commissioners. And that's because that's what students asked for and that's what staff asked for, was more mental health support in our schools. And I think that was only allowed to happen because our school board wasn't partisan. So I would just ask you guys, in the future, if there are ways to pull back on this, if there are ways to have discussions and hear from the community, I think that would be really beneficial. And I think in the future, just for some more transparency about what you guys are going to be voting on and what you're going to be talking about, because that's going to impact our kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Moving on now to our consent agenda and Ms. Fox with the finance report for February 2025.
I'll go over the highlights for the month of February. The general fund revenues collected to date, $65,605,855. That's 65.42% of the budget. The expenditures to date is $61,861,575. That's 63.28% of budget. And both of those are about where they should be for this time of the year. The revenues are $3,744,280 more than the expenditures. The ad valorem tax collected to date, $44,276,287. That's 97.77% of the budget. The motor vehicle taxes is $1,220,394. It's 58.59% of budget. and the prior year taxes collected is $216,951, which is 43.38% of budget. The sales and use tax distribution for the month of February, which represents November sales, was $1,926,253. That amount is 3.98% more than was received in February of 2024. The Article 46 distribution amount was $210,537. And the average increase for the fiscal year currently is at 0.54% of budget. The landfill disposal fees collected, $2,808,378, and the prior year landfill disposal fees, $35,452.63, which is 44.32% of budget. The growth revenues, planning and environmental health are below the percentage for the year. Code enforcement is 9.78% above, and the register of deeds is 3.57% above. The general fund contingency balance at the end of February was $813,058.10. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Questions from the board? Then we'll move on to the tax collector and refund reports. And Ms. Fox, I know Ms. Henson couldn't be here tonight.
The tax collector's report summary for February, the general fund taxes, $1,101,650.32. The rental vehicles, $1,413.99, and landfill, $69,746.93, for a total of $1,172,811.24. The delinquent taxes collected for February was $21,147.47. The total collections, $1,264,010.86. We had no refunds, had $482.10 in releases. And the tax collection rate at the end of the month was 95.78%.
Any questions by the board for the tax collector's report summary?
No, sir.
If not, I'll seek a motion for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
And a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Next up, we have two resolutions. The first is Resolution 25-7. It's the application for financing agreement. And Ms. Fox?
The resolution tonight's authorizing the filing of an application for the approval of a financing agreement authorized by North Carolina General Statute 160A20. This is the financing on the projects that were approved at the last meeting for the capital improvement plan.
Any question for Ms. Fox? If not, I'll seek a motion for approval.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Bryson?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Jennings?
Yes.
Chairman Ludson?
Yes. Next up, we have Resolution 25-8, the Charles R. Elders Highway, and Ms. Fox.
Read the resolution. It's Jackson County Board of Commissioners resolution renaming a portion of US Highway 74 Charles R. Elders Highway. Whereas the Jackson County Board of Commissioners recognizes the extraordinary contributions Charles R. Elders has made to Jackson County. And whereas Charles R. Elders was elected and served faithfully as the District 1 representative on the Jackson County Board of Commissioners from 1994 to 1998 and 2010 to 2018, serving as vice chairman from 2016 to 2018. And whereas Mr. Elders was a dedicated public servant and advocate for the citizens of his district and the citizens of the county, and whereas Mr. Elders worked on many important building projects throughout the county and served on numerous boards and committees during his time as county commissioner. And whereas Mr. Elders is an outstanding citizen of Jackson County, and renaming a portion of the highway will serve as a constant reminder of what all citizens should strive to be in their daily lives. Whereas the Jackson County Board of Commissioners is grateful for the service and dedication Charles R. Elders has demonstrated to Jackson County. Now, therefore, be it resolved that in appreciation of his distinguished life and service, the Jackson County Board of Commissioners hereby respectfully request that the North Carolina Department of Transportation rename a portion of US Highway 74 Charles R. Elders Highway.
Is there a motion for approval? And a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Jennings? Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Bryson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hooper?
Yes.
Chairman Ludson?
Yes. Logan, any questions tonight from the press? No questions. Do we need to make a,
Yes, the county will
the
make a
administrative fee?
donation for the $2,500 fee to
2,000.
DOT.
It's 2,000.
Okay. Do we need to make a motion and a?
It's in the budget, we can
Okay.
just make a donation.
Okay. With no further items on the agenda, I'll seek a motion for dismissal, adjournment. And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. None opposed. We are adjourned.